seated if you can. Now, as we announced earlier, Mr. Obi will be taking a brief question and answer session hosted by Obinna Okachukwu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Thank you again for another session. We were all expectant and we were not disappointed. So I'll go straight up to some of the questions in the minds of people which we try to put together. We'll look at, you're very heavy on savings. So let's look at security votes. Just to let us know. 3 questions in security votes. How is the amount in security votes, how is it allocated? How is the amount determined? Then, given your experience as governor, do we really need that expense? So you just take those 2, sir.
Well, let me be, I didn't know I'm going to be in question and answer section, but since it has come up, I have no alternative than to take it. For me, let me even tell Nigerians which don't know, there's nothing in our constitution called security vote. Anybody who tells that security vote is in our constitution is a lie. There's nothing in our constitution called security vote. It is a terminology that was over the years formulated for one thing or the other. What we have is a contingency fund. And that contingency fund is meant to be there. And I can say today that it's been abused. It has become the source, our biggest source of waste. Security vote is not supposed to be more than 2, 3, maximum 4% of the expenditure. But you have a situation today where it constituted 20-30%. When I started, I recall somebody telling me, just to say you have bad things, somebody telling me that my security vote can be as much as 12 billion. So 1 billion per month. And I said, fine. How much are we giving to primary schools per year? And they said, we have 1,040 primary schools. I said, so if we give the primary school 5 million, it will amount to 5 billion. So it will be remaining 7. We have 257 actually secondary schools. And I said, we'll give each 10 million per year. That's what I give them. And these are things you can check me. So I said, remove it. So they removed it from the remaining 7. And I said, we have hospitals, 4 critical hospitals that were built by the churches. They were Yenu, Boromeo, St. Joseph Adazi, and the one in Ihala, Our Lady of Lourdes. That's where we had, because we didn't have, when I started, any school of nursing, school of midwifery, school of medical technology. And these hospitals were functional. Though they were not owned by government, they were owned by voluntary agencies, the church. I even had to include one that a very good bishop of the Anglican Church in Amici established. But I included it and said, we will share 1 billion within these 5 facilities. By the time I finished, everything was reduced to about 2.5 billion. I said, this is the maximum that we will allocate to security votes. And from there, I was able to say that apart from Lagos I provided the highest number of vehicles to police, bought vehicles from every community in Anambra State. From there, I had a sex remaining. I did it that every Anambrarian that had a first class, I'll give the person 1 million, out of which I did about 500 of them. They're all over the place now, sending me this. Once you have a first class, I give you 1 million. From the same, I can go on and on. So for me, there's need for us to review it. In fact, what I said to people is that if you finish being a governor, Anambra State, I'll speak for example, where I finish, I should be invited to account for security vote. So that people will know that when you finish, you account for it. Since you didn't account for it while you're in office, when you go out, you account for it.
Thank you very much. So probably we would now ask our governors to account for the security vote when they're out, I think. Okay, I'll take the second question. And recently, some huge sums of money were recovered by the EFCC in an apartment. And Nigerians cannot yet wrap their heads around how such cash is siphoned. So with emphasis on cash, we don't really understand how this cash, money is siphoned in cash. So the question is, what are the holes in government that can result to access to such amount of theft in cash? And how can we block this? And I know there was raids after that discovery of other apartments